Alright guys, we're here tonight with Tuesday night's newest champ, Henderson. Why don't you say hello?
What's going on, guys?
We got Tweety in the background, say hey.
ETC six-time champion.
We have Fresh Ghazi in the background. He's typing hello, you can't hear that though. And we got a friend Eddie with us too. So let's go ahead and start this with the basic question. Why'd you choose Shadow tonight?
As of right now, it is my go-to deck. I've been playing it ever since it first came out in the new set. I've been switching back and forth, but I'm most comfortable with this deck. And I have a feeling after newer next challengers, whatever it is, it's gonna be one of the decks to beat as it is now.
Okay. So let's jump into the list itself then, and give it a quick look over. The first thing that stands out to me, and it's just because I didn't notice it during any, like I said, told you before the interview started, that I didn't see you play a single Wyver Burster or Collapse Serpent. So let's talk about that, I guess.
Well, I didn't play him because I just didn't draw him. I mean, the only time I actually seen one of the Chaos Dragons was if I either milled it off Raiden or I sent it to the grave for Shadow Fusion through my deck and sent a Construct. So I didn't really see much of him.
Okay. Well, Fresh Ghazi did want to know about your Lightsworn engine, and I think he was saying that he didn't understand why not more Lila or even Raiden. So hit on that.
Well, I'm going to start off by saying Fresh didn't win with this deck. I did, so I know what I'm doing. Other than that, if you noticed, after Soul Charge got hit, Patrick Hoban sucked when he maxed out on his Lightsworn engine, and he sucked so hard that he switched to Burning Abyss and still scrubbed out. I'm not saying he's a bad player, but maxing out on the Lightsworns with only one Soul Charge is not good.
Question. You chose to play Felice, which I know is like, you can go instant Arcanine or instant Black Rose, but when you draw that card, it's just like drawing Blue Eyes White Dragon.
That's exactly why I'm taking it out. I'm never playing Felice again. I either drew it or I sided it out when I needed it. So I always sided it out after game one. I always drew it, and it's horrible. I don't know why people play it. I have bad luck with it. So it's staying out, and I'm probably gonna, I don't know what I'll add in there. But,
Do you think you'll replace it with another Lila?
You know what? I'm done talking to Fresh. No, I will never replace it with another Lila. May replace it with Chaos Sorcerer or something like that, or maybe even some more back row. But Felice is coming out for sure.
Yeah, I realized that you chose not to play more boss monsters, considering the fact that you could possibly mill more than once a turn, or you could mill more than just 2 cards or 4 cards or 3 cards.
Yeah,
it's like when you want to see Dark Arm Dragon, even if you do mill it, or see Chaos Sorcerer, even if you do mill it.
And see, I was playing the Dark Arm Dragon variant, but that had the same problem with Felice. I was always seeing it like in my opening hand or drawing it, and it made Eclipse Wyvern always dead. So people would always rule shark me. Oh, let me check your deck then, because it's a mandatory effect. So with that, I just took out Dark Armed, and I decided to play just one BLS because I have a bad luck of milling all my boss monsters and then getting shit on the rest of the time.
Okay. I guess my last question for the main deck, for me, Tweety can jump in if you would like, is the trap lineup. 2 Sinister Shadow games, I want you to touch on that, and then the double wiretap, double trap stun. I want to hear about that, especially over a third Vanities.
Yeah.
Okay. The 2 Shadow games, I'm actually agreeing with, you guys might have heard Patrick Hoban's interview on his view on Shadow games. It's horrible late game, and I don't want to see it as often then. With 2, I see it when I want it, and sometimes I even open up the match with both of them, which then I know, okay, I'll save these, and I don't got to worry about drawing them late game. They're a complete dead draw when you're out of shit alls in your deck, and you're just waiting on BLS. Double wiretap, double trap stun. Simply, I hate Burning Abyss. Well, I hate going against them, and with their heavy trap lineup, I hate back row. Yurgia is starting to make a thing. Thanks, Tweety. And I just feel like they helped game ones and sometimes game 2 and 3. And the third vanities, I maybe used vanities once this entire tournament, so I think 2 is my number, because
Well,
three can get really cloudy for me.
I mean, I can understand like the two Sinister, but back to this wiretap trap stuff. Why did you choose both instead of running like max out on all wiretap and max out on all trap stun? Like when you could just turn everything off of trap stun that turn, why did you play wiretap still?
This is gonna sound really weird, but before I was playing wiretap and trap stun, I just mained trap stun, and whenever I would trap stun for the turn to go off, they would wiretap it, and then I would be out of another trap stun. So this increases the odds of me, one, opening them, making sure I have them for later when I want to push, and two, if I have a wiretap and trap stun, I trap stun, they wiretap, and then I, wiretap their wiretap, and then I go off and play like that.
Yeah. Well, I guess we're gonna move on to the side deck. I'll start off by saying I want you to touch on this double Veiler and the double Chaos Trap Hole, and then this random Direwolf that snuck in.
Yeah, that was my biggest question about that side deck.
Direwolf, I'm going to touch on that first. I've always been a fan of Direwolf. So any deck that I can make a ring for it, I try and squeeze it in somewhere, and I didn't know what to put in for the last spot. And as you see, my extra deck space was really, really tight. Diamond Dire actually came into play one time in my round 2 match that worked really well in game 3. So he's there in case I know my side deck MSTs aren't going to do enough for spot removal. Diamond Dire is great for that. And as far as double Veiler, you all know effect negation is one of the big things this format, especially against Burning Abyss. You effect Veiler, their tour guide, they're left there with a tour guide. Simply for that, in Chaos Trap Hole, I never used it. I never sided it in, never had to, but I think it's good simply because when they summon a light or dark monster, it's like a solemn warning, but they banish it. So instead of it hitting the grave like you solemn warning Dante, and it goes to the grave and still gets its effect. You Chaos Trap Hole it, it gets banished. The materials may get the effect, but there's no light target for their BLS, and there's no Dante in the grave for Sir to, recycle. And it also works for the mirror match too.
I guess the biggest question about it would be the fact that it only hits inherent summons.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I hate facing Burning Abyss, so
yeah.
You're going to see my side deck mostly against Burning Abyss because I can play my way out of almost any other situation.
Well, why not pull in the Rogue for the normal summon of Tour Guide? Since, like, if they set cards, they have set cards, and then they, like, say they do their regular Dante play first, and they go back row, but then they set cards. Then the next turn, after they search Tour Guide, which they usually should not search Tour Guide, but sometimes you search Tour Guide, and then you summon it, and then you just stop it with pulling the Rogue. Why not pulling the Rogue?
Well, also you need to throw in why not pulling a Rogue beyond just Tour Guide because of the Monarchs as well. So it's like utility across the board.
Yeah.
I suppose you guys do make a little bit of a idea for that, but I mean, if I was going to an actual regional, I would be setting pulling the Rogue over Chaos Trap Hole. But this is gonna sound funny, but with it being an ETC, I was expecting Battery Men. So
the Battery Men trend.
That's another reason why I kind of put it in there.
All right, I guess the last thing that could also even be considered a main deck question, and I just remembered a little conversation we were having during the tournament where I just asked you randomly, I'm like, are you main decking MSTs? And you were like, oh yeah, maybe that's something to think about. What are your thoughts about that after the tournament?
feel like it could have helped a little bit. Like games, there's like I can't remember game one where I know in MST would have worked, but I don't have MST because I play three dragons. I don't really see anybody main decking Shadow Mirror nowadays. But then again, that will change. So I am switching this around. I am going to end up main decking the two MSTs in the side deck. Probably uh, side decking the third dragon in case I need more back row hate. But yeah, I wish I would have main decked the MSTs a lot more.
Okay.
Did you, in this tournament, did you ever have the feeling where you wanted to make Excitation Night, or whatever it's called, since you're not playing it?
No, because I side deck Regeki, and Regeki's saved me a bunch of times this entire tournament.
I actually saw I want to say quite a few, but I saw several Raigeki resolutions that impacted games tonight.
Yeah. Yes, and especially, she's probably really mad at me, but Yif. Oh my gosh, Yif. Okay, so for those of you that weren't watching, Game 3, it was 2,000 life points, 2,000 life points. It was my turn. I had a Squamata on the field. In my hand, I had a Beast. Her field, I think she had a Ticket and a Magdalene. And in her hand, she had a Hoot Cake and what was it? Hoot Cake and the Cat. Other than that, I top decked Regeki. I was confused. I was like, how am I going to win? Because she's going to go off next turn, and then she's going to kill me, because we were both at 2,000. And then I was thinking, wait a second. I got a Beast in my hand. I contribute. This isn't Dark Hole. So when I top decked Regeki, I played it, took out her Magdalene, and then after that, I tributed Squamata, summoned Beast, and won from there. And I think she was pretty salty from that.
Oh, I have one final thing to ask you about. I know that in a lot of deck profiles and stuff recently, like Jordan Bermudez in his top, and I mean his win, and then like going on to ARG Iowa, people have been talking about this 3 construct, 2 construct thing, and Jordan Bermudez said 3 construct is always needed, and I want to see where you stand.
You see, I played 3 construct. I like 3 construct. I like the fact that I can go into construct like 3 times because it is an overall great card. But I just feel like there don't feel like there aren't many times where I have to go in that 3rd construct. Usually I would go into 2, and that would be enough. The build I was doing before this testing out, I had Call the Haunteds. And if you call the Haunted a construct, that's really, really good. Because not only do you have a 28 beater, if you're in the mirror match, they can't shut off fusion from their deck, but construct still gets her Foolish Burial effect, even if she's called a Haunted. So it's kind of like a pseudo MST if I send a dragon, draw a card with Beast. So I may end up trying the Call the Haunted again because that was really working for me before. But I feel like 2 and 2 is 2 and 2 is a good ratio. It depends on if you're doing the Exceed build or Synchro build. As you can see, mine's a little Synchro heavy because I have Raidens. But 2 construct 2 window was perfectly fine for me.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I think actually one of those synchro spots is a flexible spot that probably should be another Ixies monster.
I mean, he could also the Stardust Dragon over Stardust Spark Dragon. Your thoughts on why Stardust over Spark?
I know it's kind of like it's more of a situation sort of thing. With Stardust, I feel, because I do kind of struggle in the mirror match also. Stardust gets around Shaddoll construct. It's around the effect, and then I can get rid of it. Yeah, they'll get Shaddoll fusion back, but I got rid of one of the constructs. Although Stardust Spark with Vanities is amazing, I may end up taking out either Thought Ruler or Crimson Blader for Stardust Spark. I do want to keep Stardust Dragon.
You better be keeping that Thought Ruler in there.
Yeah, keep the Thought Ruler. Play against them and eventually will figure it out.
Yeah. Oh no. I've definitely had to go into Thought Ruler against Burning Abyss and win games that way. It's
All
so
right.
great.
Well, I think that pretty much wraps it up for the deck segment and your thoughts on the deck and card choices. So let's just move on to some of those fresh Ghazi style questions and ask you, the first question being, what was your hardest matchup tonight?
The hardest matchup. Well, since Tweety's on here, I feel obligated to say Tweety. I'm just messing. Tweety was probably my most difficult matchup simply because Tweety is an experienced person. He knows what he's doing. The fact that he made it to the finals of Geargia, I mean, it doesn't surprise me because it's ETC, but
ATC's
it's Geargia is making an impact, and people want it to make an impact. So people will do whatever they can to make it work around the meta to make it splashable again, splashable in the meta. As far as a deck that you're going to want to prepare for going at regionals or ARG, something like that. So the fact that he was able to pilot Geargia like that, the way he was, so I sat in on a few of his matches. I wasn't as terrified as facing EF because I just fucking hate Madolches with a passion. But I was pretty terrified trying to face if I had to face Tweety, and of course somehow I came out on top.
It was a good match.
Yeah, give yourself a little credit. You made some at least decent plays, if nothing else.
Yeah.
We saw that shut off fusion, then that flipped in fusion.
Yeah, I was anticipating vanities, and that's going to be my more conservative side going in. I'm just a very careful player. Sometimes I'm too careful, and it actually cost me game one against you.
All right then. Well, any final thoughts on the night? Anything you saw? So on and so forth.
I want to give a shout out to Omnishiro. That was a really tough matchup, round one. And
What are you talking?
I'm surprised he actually didn't give me that match. It was really.
Anyway.
No, I don't know. I'm probably not going to play Shadalls next time because people are going to probably be expecting it now because the only time I've won is when I've played Shadalls. So, expect me to play a different deck. What it is, I don't know because I suck with every other one. But that's it for me.
Shout out to Fresh Ghazi.
Fresh Ghazi. And those fight clothes. Alright guys, well that was your interview with this week's champ. I look forward to seeing you again next week. Later.